The President Trump meets with Republican senators on Capitol Hill today to discuss tax reform. Tennessee Senator Bob Corker will be there. The Foreign Relations Committee chairman calls the visit just a photo op. And Corker reportedly described the Senate's budget process as a hoax because it does not address real spending.
It's not the first time the Republican has spoken out. He told the New York Times this month the president's threats to North Korea were reckless and could put the U.S. on the path to World War III. And when the president criticized Corker's decision not to run for re-election, the senator tweeted, "It's a shame the White House has become an adult daycare center." Senator Corker is with us from Capitol Hill. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Well,
kind of laid it all out there, didn't you?
I know.
We're just getting started, Senator.
I know.
Yeah,
and now the president's coming to Capitol Hill to talk with you guys about tax reform today. I know you've said you think the president should step aside from this process. Is he being a distraction? Are the comments that he's making, the tweets, making it harder to get tax reform done?
Well, we've got one thing that's not talked about in this process enough is we have $4 trillion worth of loopholes, credits. We've got things that have to be closed. This is what the American people want. They want tax reform that makes it simple for them to fill out their tax returns. But if you keep taking those things off the table in advance, then you really don't have a path to get to this $4 trillion number, which is important. To do what's been laid out. So I would let the tax writing committees do their work. I think both the House and Senate has done a lot of preliminary work, and stay out of taking things off the table and really negotiating against the process before it even begins.
I understand what you're saying, because there's a suggestion by Republicans on Capitol Hill that it's time to cap the contributions for 401ks by wealthy Americans. And the president said yesterday in a tweet, there'll be no change. That seems to be hurting the process, you're saying.
Well, again, there's numbers of other things. There was the state and local deductions and people moving away from that. So look, it's not religion to me which ones we close or don't close, at least not at this point, but we need to leave everything on the table to be successful. And when you begin on the front end taking those things off, it makes it more difficult. But I hope we're going to be successful. I hope we can create economic growth, but I hope we do so with not in any way increasing the deficit, which is the greatest threat to America right now.
Senator, the former President George W. Bush, Bush 43, former Senator, and President Barack Obama have all spoken about the country and the mood of the country without naming the president. They seem to be doing what you also have spoken about, the fitness of the president. What are your concerns about this president?
Well, look, I've gotten to know the president in a very unique way over the course of the last year, and I guess like all Americans, I would have hoped that he would rise to the occasion and bring out the best in our nation. Charlie, hopefully what presidents do is to try to bring the country together, to unify around common goals, and not to debase our country, if you will. And that has not happened, and I'm beginning to believe that it's not going to happen. And I think that's what President Bush, President Obama, many others have been concerned about, as it appears to be the governing model of this White House to purposely divide. I mean, that's what happened after the Virginia incident. It's to consolidate base, not to bring people together and to bring out the better angels of those people in our country. This is a great nation, and without us doing that, it really not only affects us and future generations, but it affects the world. And so I don't really hold out a lot of hope, but I hope that somehow a little bit different course of action can be taken.
We keep hearing privately, Senator Corker, that many people feel the way you do. So what's being done about it on Capitol Hill?
Well, look, you know, we're separate and equal branches, but there's tremendous power that resides in the White House. One of the things we're going to be doing, beginning a week from this coming Monday night, we're going to begin to walk through a series of discussions about the authorization for the use of military force, what powers the president has, talk about some of the international alignments that we have that are very important to our country, making the American people even more aware of some of the destructive things that are happening. So, you know, that's one thing we can do. It can also be a check legislatively. But look, an individual in that particular position has tremendous power to set the tone for our country, and unfortunately it's being set in a way that I think is not bringing out the best in the citizens that we all treasure here in our country. So, you know, I'm doing the best I can without, you know, trying to do so in a statesman-like manner, but I think this is shared by many Americans.
Yes, do you feel free to speak out the way you do because you have announced that you're not running?
You know, I spoke out before I announced I wasn't running. I think everybody's aware of that. It's been building for some time. I made very strong comments after the incident in Virginia when, again, it felt like the president was just trying to consolidate a base of people that and do so in a way that, again, I thought was very inappropriate. Even before that, I've made comments. So it's been building for some time. And look, I came up here on a 2-term mission. I told people in Tennessee that I couldn't imagine serving more than 2 terms. So I have felt independence really the entire time I've been in the Senate.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you
Thank you both.
for joining us.
Thank you all. Thank you.